You Tell It podcast. Here with another. Honestly, man, I've been getting a lot of legends on this podcast, man. Here with another Valley legend. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up? I go by Alyssa. I'm known as a Valley graphic designer. Work with a lot of brands in and out of the city. But yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, same thing. We've been trying to schedule this, but we both been just everybody's busy. Life.
Yeah.
Life takes tolls on us. And everything like that. So for those returning to the podcast and then those new listeners, again, whoever I interview, I always want them to pick the spot where we do the interview at. Right now, again, we're in the city of San Fernando. Why this spot? Why
I chose the gardens more specifically because I grew up right here on San Fernando Mission. My grandma's house is literally about 2 houses down. But yeah, I grew up here. I used to play softball, practice right here at Brand Park. My family grew up here, and I host a lot of my events here, a lot of car shows, so I felt it was only right.
That's what's up. Yeah, we were just talking about that off camera. I was just like, damn, like during middle school and high school, I was here every weekend for quinceañera pictures.
Oh yeah, this was known as the ditch spot. Everybody was here. If you weren't here, I mean, you're probably missing out.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, if you know, you know.
No doubt on that one. No doubt on that one. All right, so let's get straight into it. Again, growing up in the valley, like take us back, like you said, you grew up here in the city of San Fernando. Let's take it back to, you as a kid growing up. How was that?
I'm born and raised San Fernando. I went to San Fernando Elementary, San Fernando Middle, San Fernando High School.
Damn.
Yeah, so born and raised. I tell you, my family grew up in San Fernando. My parents were born at San Fernando Hospital. If you know, it's a little hospital in San Fernando. But yeah, I grew up playing sports here. That's honestly how I know a majority of people. My family was very into sports, so they put us in at a young age. My brother played Pop Warner football. I played softball.
Okay, nice.
We played at Las Palmas Park. Okay. So yeah, so we're San Fernando natives for sure.
Yeah, no doubt on that one. No doubt on that one. So growing up, obviously San Fernando, that was a really big gang influence. I feel like San Fernando itself is one of the biggest gangs in the valley. Yeah. Not trying to get too politic on that. How was that for you growing up? How did you stay away from all that as a kid?
You know what? I mean, it's a lot. It's hard for a lot of people to stay out of the gang politics. Especially depending on where you grow up. But my parents weren't necessarily like that. They made sure that we were on top of school. In sports, and I think the sports played a lot of part in discipline. It taught me a lot, especially like the scolding. Going to practice. You don't really have time to be on the streets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I tell everybody with me. Where I grew up and stuff like that. I got generations into the gang, and a lot of people were just like surprised, like, damn, we're surprised that you weren't in it. It's like, well, I think honestly, like sports really saved it.
Yeah.
On that one, because I was playing baseball since I was a kid. That's my favorite sport of all time, and it's something that really like kept me away from it. Don't get me wrong, like I was always representing it, as a kid. That's just because I was raised around all that stuff, but I never got into the hood like that. And I thank God for that, especially like a lot of my friends that I grew up with are they got into the hood. And a lot of them are either locked up or unfortunately no longer with us on this earth.
That's reality. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can't help what you're born into. But as you grow older, you learn to gain control of your outcomes. So I mean, I have a lot of friends that are from the hood, but you know what? Again, I chose a different route, and you know what? I mean, I chose hard work.
Yeah. Was there ever like a really tough, like difficult time where like you were like almost peer pressured into the life, or no? Not at all?
No. You know what? I mean, I'm a girl. You know what I mean? And I know, obviously I'm lesbian, but okay. I mean, I don't sit there, and I dress a certain way, you know what I mean? But I don't sit there and puff my chest out at somebody, or I didn't sit there and like want to be a fighter, you know what I mean? There's a lot, again, and that's if you choose that lifestyle, that's your choice, you know exactly what I mean? But no, I was more into sports, I played high school ball. I was actually known as a catcher out of San Fernando Valley. First team all state.
Oh, nice. That's what's up.
I was actually known for being a baller, you know what I mean? And I I broke my foot. I lost my scholarship. I had a scholarship to UCLA from my freshman year. Yes, it's a funny story, but everybody knows me. I played softball for 15 years, and I was getting scouted since my freshman year. And I want to say the beginning of my junior year, I was messing around and I broke my foot.
What year did you graduate?
2013.
Oh, that was around the era too. San Fernando was on a roll with everything.
We were balling, man.
The Tigers,
football,
the Tigers were like, they were on their shit. They were
football,
like
wrestling, soccer.
It's like every sport you were seeing San Fernando holding up the championships. Like, what the fuck is going on?
You know what? San Fernando was really into the athletics, and we had a good package. You know what I mean? When it came to any sport, so it was a good run. But yeah, that happened. You know what? And sometimes you got to see things as a blessing in disguise. You know, it was a hard one to swallow. You know, but
when did you break your foot? Senior year?
My junior year, and that was the year I was supposed to sign. Yeah, so they came looking, and my coach was like, "Oh, she broke her foot," and they say sayonara.
Yeah,
that's it. It's one shot and one shot only when you're in sports.
How'd you break it? If you don't mind talking about that.
Yeah, it's so funny. I've never told this story till this day, but I was messing around, and I'm not gonna lie, I've been a stoner all my life. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I've been a stoner all my life, and I was messing around. I was like, I'm going to the backyard, take a quick puff. I was all jiffy, like running out the back door, hopped off the back steps and landed wrong.
No fucking
stupid
way.
On some stupid shit. Yeah, on some stupid shit. But you know what? I mean, again, I see it today. It was a route that was destined for me.
No doubt. And. It took me a long time to really like see stuff like that, where it's all like, maybe like the bad things that have happened to us were meant to happen to us for a certain reason. Yeah. Because basically, like, I've gone through like a lot of like recent shit, like crazy shit, and and I thought to myself, why me? But then I finally like accepted it, and I was like, you know what? It probably happened for a reason. Yeah. There's probably something better for me out there that's gonna happen. Something for sure, is coming my way, and I know it. Like at that point, it's just like, Jesus, take the wheel. Like, wherever you got for me, like let's do it. Whether I gotta wait for it or it's like just right around the corner. Fuck it. Like let's do what we gotta do.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, and in those moments too, sometimes it could be a dark place, because you don't, again, and that time it was one shot only when you're in sports, so when that happened to me, I was just like, damn, I had to sit there and decide whether I was gonna push through and try to stick out a scholarship or, and I ended up going to Valley. I played 1 year, and then I was like, this is eat, sleep, shit, softball, what I mean? And I'm like, I'm an adult, I'm an adult, and then you also hear reality of like, damn, I need to get a job, I need money, and then too, like, school's expensive, and my family, we're barely making it by, and my parents didn't have money like that to send me to a university, you know what I mean? Some people are lucky and they're blessed to have that, or, they come across scholarships, but my way out was the scholarship through softball. So when that went out the window, I was like, damn, I gotta shift, what I want to do. And at that time, I wasn't even designing. I wasn't even into art. No, I was not into art.
So besides softball, what was like your second like love or like passion, like what else did you like to do besides softball?
Honestly, I think I was focused on softball for so long that I didn't have a thought in mind of what I wanted to do. I was so focused on it for so long that I didn't have a backup route. And when I went to Valley, I was like going to school, and even in my major, I was like, what the hell am I doing? I got my AA in sociology, but again, I wasn't even designing at that time, and I was working at Office Depot. So when I was working there, I remember some guy came in and he was printing his artwork, and I was like, oh, if you don't mind me asking, like, how'd you get that? How'd you do that? And he was like, oh, I did it on an iPad. And I was like, oh, damn, that's cool. Like, I've never heard of people drawing on iPads like that. So I was like, oh, that's cool. And then it's funny because JP used to come in, and that's how I met JP. He would come in, and shout out JP Mills. But he came in and he would print his layouts of his murals that he was gonna do. So he would come in and be like, you know what, I need this blown up to this size, and then whatever, I would print his artwork and then, you know, send him on his way. But that's actually how I met him.
That's crazy. Yeah. You see, you know, I tell a lot of people that, like, your passion doesn't have to be something you've been doing since you were a kid.
No.
It's gonna, like, eventually find you, you know?
Yeah. And you know what? I used to draw since I was a kid. I used to draw so much. But again, I didn't know that that was going to be something I ended up doing as I got older, you know? And don't take it wrong, I still got my 9-to-5 job, you know?
Of course.
Yeah, I still got my 9-to-5 as my backbone. But you know what? It's a hustle, you know?
Yeah.
Grind it out.
You can't always put your eggs in one basket,
No,
you know?
absolutely not, you know? But
okay, so when did you actually start, like, taking graphic designs, like, serious like that?
So I want to say it was about like 2019. My dad was making shirts, or just, you know, for his homies and whatnot, and then I was like, you know what, I want to start making shirts. So I started making shirts, like just little things here and there, and then I was like, you know what, I really want to turn this into a brand. And my brand name is So Kaotic Clothing. My softball team that I played for, we were known as Total Chaos for like a couple years. Okay. And like I knew I wanted something that was me, you know what I mean? Aside from high school softball, I was part of that team for a long time. And then I knew I wanted to do something with the word chaos, and I was like, oh, like, okay, trying to sum it up to, okay, chaotic, you know what I mean? So I was like, oh, messing around with it, and then I came up with So Chaotic, and I was like, you know what, it's stuck. So I started making clothing, and then from there, one of my good friends, her name's Christine. Shout out Christine. She's Keanu Day's day-to-day manager. Keanu Day. Yeah, she's really dope. She's been working out of the city for quite a while in the music industry. But one day I was just chopping it up with her, and she was like, oh, you know what? She's like, why don't you do graphic art? Why don't you do album covers or design for people? I was like, you know what? I never thought of it like that, you know? She's like, yeah, you should just try it. I know you know artists. So I was like, oh, okay, you know? So I started doing it like that, and I would just reach out to people. And
what you got to do once you start off, you know?
Yeah, you know, you reach out to artists, you know, and I learned to reach out to them when they're starting out.
Yeah.
You see those artists that are, you know, you fuck with their music a little bit, and you're like, all right, you know what, let me reach out to this guy. And then some of them blow up, and some of them, you know, they're making their way, you know. I mean, some routes are longer than others, but again, it was just opportunities like that, and then it became word of mouth. You know, so I started taking it serious. I upgraded the iPad. You know, I started out on a little
sketchbook.
iPad mini that froze every time my drawings got too you know,
detailed,
complex. Yeah. So then I ended up upgrading, and then, you know, you have to.
Yeah, so that's why I tell people, you gotta spend money to make money at the end of the day. You know, I know a lot of people like starting off their clothing brand and stuff like that. You know, like.
Yeah.
It may look easy at first.
It
may look
hard.
easy, but it's not like, okay, you gotta get a design, all right? After you get a design, then you gotta get bundles of shirts. All right, after you get the bundle of shirts, now you gotta find where you're gonna print those shirts out, and you know, you gotta start negotiating prices, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
And shit ain't cheap nowadays, man.
Oh no, you know, I started out with dozen shirts at a time. I would get them printed. And again, you got to place your orders, you know, and then it gets even harder the bigger you get, you know what I mean? Then you get your website, you get your tax IDs, you get the processing orders, you got to do the media marketing, you know, you got to do all that. It all comes into play. But that's another thing too, is taking into consideration that you need a team. And I think that was a big factor for me, is learning that I need to know when to ask for help, because sometimes you can't do everything by yourself. And you know, sometimes I wish I could clone myself, you know what I mean? I'm like, I could do this, I could do that. But again, and that's when, you know, I decided to add my brother to my clothing brand. So shout out my brother Frank. He made the actual A18 logo that everybody sees everywhere. The one that was on Vaughn's pop-up that he had, my brother actually did that. My spray can so my brother's a graph artist, badass. But yeah, he made our A18 logo that blew up everywhere, honestly. So yeah, I ended up adding him to our team. And then, you know, I got all my friends that help model and stuff, you know. So that's another thing too, like, I mean, and to anybody starting out a brand, you know, you don't gotta sit there and be like, oh, I need these models to sit there and make my brand look good. You know, honestly, you can be some regular people on your page. You know, throw your parents in a shirt, throw your cousins, throw your little siblings, throw whoever in a shirt.
Because at the end of the day, they're buying the shirt. They ain't buying the model.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what I mean? Those are gonna be your. That's your promo.
Yeah.
You send them in a shirt, they go to the liquor store and somebody sees it, and well, then somebody saw it. You know what I mean? 10 people saw it that day.
Yeah, and
it is what it is.
Well, me, like, I love, like, supporting, like, the homies and stuff like that. For example, you know, I got my homie Chores brand, Retrohead.
That's fire.
Like, I love, like, supporting, like, my homies' brands, you know, especially, like, Valley brands. It's just all, like, at the end of the day, like, I love when people are like, damn, that's a dope-ass shirt. Where'd you get it? Oh, it's my homies' brand, you know? You know, like, check them out and stuff like that. Like, for example, my best friend in Denver came out here and he bought stuff off of Vonnie's brand.
Okay.
And he fucked it and he was like, bro, like, I'm not even from the Valley and I'm rocking Valley stuff out here. He's like, and I've had people like, bro, that's a sick ass hoodie. Like, where did you get it? And like, oh, well, it's, you know, it's California, you know, and stuff like that. You know? So it's dope to see that too, like people out of state, you know, fucking with like the Valleys and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, like, you know, and that's another thing too. I mean, I started out with graffiti, you know, me and my brother, we've been graphing since we were kids, you know, and you get in trouble, you know, but back then you're getting what is it, a felony for getting caught tagging, you know, and then that, you know, you start to think about it. Well, people are moving canvases, you know, you put your artwork on clothes and there it goes, you know.
They can't do nothing about
that one. But and you know, all that comes into play, but I mean, I think in the long run it's a dope route to take once you see it all unfold. I think, you know, at first it's a slow start, but I mean, after a while, you lay a brick a day, you end up with a wall. You know,
that's a good one.
You know,
I love when people come on here and throw those quotes.
You know what I mean?
That shit is, I love it. All right, so when you just started off graphic designing, is there like any other graphic designers you were like looking up to as like inspiration and stuff like that? Or you were just trying to like do your own thing? Honestly,
I was just trying to do my own thing. I've always been on my own path. You know what I mean? I do all kinds of art. Sometimes I draw when I'm bored, but I do see like I see artists all over the place. But again, I didn't really have an artist that I was like looking up to. I kind of just did my own thing, and then I did see people like with brands are inspiring me. Like honestly, 1990s, shout out my homie 1990s. He when I seen his brand, I used to wear his brand in high school. You know, and
I remember that brand when I was in middle school, high school. I remember 1990s.
Yeah, I used to wear it. My homie Eric, he would bring shirts to school and sell them. You know, and again, I was like, damn, like. One day I want to start my own brand, you know what I mean? So again, it was just that route. But as far as graphic design, I just ended up doing it. It was a thing. And you know what? I got into graphic design before it was a thing that became blown up on Instagram, because now you see so many graphic designers.
Oh yeah, I've gotten hit up on the podcast page by like about a couple of them, you know, like offering their services and all that. And I tell them, you know, at the moment I'm not looking for anything, but you know, I appreciate it. But I've gotten hit up by so many graphic designers already, and it's just all like, damn, like this is like really crazy. Like it's another like it's another game like that. You know?
Honestly, again, there's a whole bunch of graphic designers now. Shout out the new graphic designers. So I started getting people hitting me up asking me for like, you know, just advice. That's you know, my homie with the brand Rich Mob.
I've heard of that.
And I got a little homie. He has this Nino brand. It's like this little character with cars and stuff. Okay. So again, they hit me up for advice, and you know, I help them out when I can, or give them advice on Photoshop, whatever it is, you know. But it's crazy because a lot of the artists that I work with too, they come across these graphic designers, and like sometimes my prices don't work for people, you know what I mean? But again, they go elsewhere, and it's like, well, damn, I've seen your logo 5 times, you know? And it's like, you got to be careful with who you're working with online, especially because a lot of people are duplicating things right now.
Yeah,
you know, and the cheaper the prices, you know, you'll see it later on. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's when it comes down to everything. Like, you get what you pay for at the end of the day.
Exactly.
That's for like everything in life, you know.
Yeah.
But that was gonna be one of my next questions. Have you ever like gotten somebody like trying to like jack your like style or like anything like that? Like you know, like you throw a sample and you like see like a very like similar like one?
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny because it's happened. I've seen it a couple of times where somebody will take logos and like revamp them, or it's like I've done work for artists and then my price doesn't work, so they go somewhere and they ask somebody to like try and like remake it, and it doesn't come out necessarily the way it's supposed to. You know what I mean? So again, but you know what's funny is they always double back. That's what happens. You double back, and it's like, well,
you know what?
I told you so.
Yeah, I'm gonna fuck with you.
Yeah, you know, like, oh, you know, and I'm like, hey, I told you so. And again, but that's when I'm like, well, there goes the price for you. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what? My prices, I try to budget with people. You know, that's another thing. I try to make it very clear that I like to work and build relationships with anybody that I'm working with. Again, I work with budgets, payments, you know, whatever it is. So it's not like I'm a hard person to work with. I make it very easy to work with me, you know. But again, you can't really control who you work with, you know. I mean, everybody's a different experience. And, you know, shout out to people with good business, because let me tell you, when the business is good, it's smooth.
No doubt.
Smooth transaction. People are clear on their ideas, and, you know, it goes good. But, yeah, you know what? I've had people also run off on me, you know, with designs. Like, I do work for them couple different times, and then they pay me a quarter or whatever, and then they run off, and it's like, oh, well, there it is, you know. And I'm sitting there chasing them, you know. And then after a while, I'm like, you know what, I'm not gonna see it. It is what it is. And sometimes they'll hit me and be like, hey, but that's because they need more work, you know. But again, I mean, it happens. And like I said, you know, the music industry is kind of like the dope game. I'm not gonna lie. You know, you have people run off on beat money. You have people run off on merch designs, cover designs. I've done album promos, different things, you know. So I mean, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
Have you ever gotten like really like bad like reviews on any of your stuff, or nah? Not
No,
really.
honestly, no, because at the end of the day, I'm not one of those artists that take you know, people like to take deposits, and I should take deposits. But at the same time, I work as in, I don't want you to pay me until you like what I give you.
That's what's up. I love
and
that.
that's the way I work.
Yeah.
That's the way I work. I don't want you to pay me until you like what I give you and you really fuck with it. You know?
That's what's up.
So that's again, and but that's also the down part, is like where sometimes people run off, you know.
They'll be like, oh, I don't like it, but they do like it, and it's like, oh, your prices
you know,
are
and
not.
I've done a lot of free work too. When I first started designing, I would do a lot of free work, and then the minute I wanted to charge, it was like, oh, you know, and
like,
it's
damn,
like,
you gonna charge me?
yeah, and it's like, oh, well, my work was dope when it was free, you know. But again, I mean, it comes with
like
it.
That.
It comes with it, you know. And I'm not saying it's all bad, you know, but it's not all rainbows and butterflies either.
Of course, yeah. I think that's like, again, you know, that's another like life lesson right there. You know, like, hey, not everything is rainbows and sunshine,
you know,
and shit like that.
Yeah, I have so many stories, you know, from my brand, like things happening. Again, people be like, oh, your brand's so dope, this and that, you're doing so good, da, da, da. And it's like, man, but
if you knew what, you know, behind the scenes,
behind the scenes stuff happens. I remember one time I had it's trial and error. I had shirts that I had in clear bins, right, in my garage, and because there's a window right there, I had one of my boxes stain all my shirts from the sun. You got sun stains, and there goes about 20 shirts with just a sun mark from it being creased and folded. And it's like, damn, I didn't even know that happens, you know. But again, like that, there's that happen, you know. I had one time I spent about $1,500. I invested on some shirts I was gonna drop, and I won't name drop, but yeah, I had one of my friends was drunk. Here she comes, throws up in a whole bin of clothes. And let me tell you, like, I wish she would have just threw up on top of the bin and got the shirts that were on top, but she threw up in the corner to where it hit every shirt on the way down. So I was like, I didn't even know what to do. I just wrapped up my stuff, and I remember I got home that night, I sat on the porch and I cried.
Some shit we would have done. Honestly, like,
I cried, and I was just like, fuck, I couldn't believe it. And at that time, I didn't have a good job, so I was just like, what the fuck
took a little toll on you. Yeah, no doubt.
Honestly, it made me want to quit. I was like, dude, I ain't making shit no more, you know. But I mean, again, you know, it happens.
With stuff like that, I like to say, like, it's a minor setback for like a major comeback. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, shit like that. That's crazy. Damn. Throw up, like, I mean, maybe if the sun mark, you know, looked cool, but
well, you know
throw
what,
up on a shirt.
The ones with the sun mark, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get some bleach. I ended up bleaching them and I sold them.
No way. Oh, you see, there you go.
So, you know, I ended up, but the throw up ones, I was like, you know what? My dad's like, oh, I bought you the best detergent there is. Just try it. And I was like, dude, there's no way I'm gonna resell shirts that I throw up on them. And it's funny because it wasn't even like, you know, like she threw up in clumps. It was clear throw up, you know, but still I was like, I wasn't gonna do that.
Nah.
So I mean, I just took the hit.
Hey, there's grimy people that would do some shit like that though. Like, no doubt. No doubt. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to say grimy. Like, yeah, I'll take that back.
No, that's some grimy shit. You selling shirts that got thrown up on, you know, damn, that's foul.
That's fucking funny.
I mean, you know, honestly, I was just giving them out. I was giving them out to my friends. I was just like, hey, here, like, you know.
Did you wash it before you went?
No, I washed them. I washed them, all of them, for like, I washed them like honestly like 5 times. But again, I just gave them away to people. I was giving them out like candy. You know, it is what it is.
I would have just looked at your homegirl like, you're nasty. Yeah. You couldn't pick that anywhere. Throw. You picked that bin right there.
You know. Honestly, I look back at that, I'm like, damn, I can't even believe that happened. But I mean, again, it is what it is. Things happen, you know. But I like to say, you know, look where I'm at now.
Yeah. So, who was like the first person? I mean, you may not even remember if you don't, but like, when was it that like somebody actually like, hey, you know what? Like they hit you up and actually like your first time you got paid for your work?
The first time I got paid for my work, I want to say was with Chris O'Bannon. Shout out Chris O'Bannon. He's one of the first LA artists that I actually worked with that took me serious in what I wanted to do. I started doing cover arts for him, and I was doing them like weekly, dropping singles. Started messing around with a little bit of motion and all that, and he paid me out, and I was like, damn, like that's when I was like, I could really do this, because I actually listened to him. I was a fan of him.
Oh, okay.
You know, and I happened to just get lucky. You know, I would reach out to people all the time, and it's either you get a no answer, you get left on scene, and then that one yes is all it takes. You know, it's a difference. But yeah, shout out Chris O'Bannon. That was the first artist that I worked with that was like, damn, like I could do this, you know.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, with that too, like with me, like I'm on the podcast page now, like just hitting people up left and right. Hey, let me get an interview. Hey, can I get you on an interview? I've been left on scene.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna front. I've been left on scene, but for the people who've have messaged me back and yeah, we'll schedule it and stuff like that, I really appreciate y'all, because I got some shit coming.
Oh no, exactly. But that's the thing. That's the thing, though. You can't let somebody leaving you on scene discourage you. You know, you gotta just. It's funny though, because those people that left you on scene, when they see you drop 10 interviews, let me tell you, they're gonna be like, "Oh, what's up? Let's run that interview back." You know what I mean?
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna do it. You know, all right. Yeah,
I'm gonna bring it. But just know I'm gonna bring it up.
Yeah,
I'm gonna bring that shit up.
You left me on red.
Yeah, like
you know,
hell yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of artists that's happened to me too. I mean, I've hit them up like, "Yo, let's work," and then they see stuff and they're like, "Oh, what's up? We need to get some work." And I'm like, "Oh,
now you want to get some work,
yeah." You know what I mean? And then the quality's there, you know. So
that shit right there. That's like that shit I love right there too.
Yeah.
Like, there's times though where like I hit people up, they leave me on scene, and then they'll message me like a week or two later. Hey, you know what? I left you on red. You know, I was busy and stuff like that. All right, cool. You know, like I appreciate it. Like at least you're getting back to me and stuff like that. You know. But yeah, like I try. Like I've been trying. You know, my fully best to not let anything like that discourage me, because I know it's just part of the game at the end of it, you know. Like patience is, you know, key, and like I've been trying to work on that a lot, because when I was younger I had no type of fucking patience. Like I wanted like shit like that, you know. But you know, I've been working on it, and like now, like I know shit just takes time, you know. That's why like I've been just trying to knock back like interview after interview after interview to have, you know, everything ready, you know. So when I have that little like, damn, well, I don't have an interview this week. Well, shit, I got like 7 clips in the chamber, you know. Like, let me unload one of these motherfuckers real quick. You know
what? People can try to discourage you, try to downplay you, whatever it is, but nobody can take your commitment away from you and your hard work. So as long as you're putting out every day for yourself, it's gonna pay off. You know. Again, you could get 1,000 no's, but let me tell you, you got 50 yeses. You know,
those 50 yeses is
going those 50 yeses will go a long way.
Hell yeah, no doubt on that one. Love that one. Love that one. So, I mean, I met you at Vonnie's pop-up event. From there, you know, like I've been seeing, you know, your work, and I've seen that you've worked with a lot of like big names and stuff like that. Who was like one of the first big names to hit you up like that?
The first big name I got was Haiti Baby. I don't know if you know Haiti Baby.
No, I have not.
He has a song called "Change Your Life," and at that time, that song was big and like a big party anthem. Search it up.
I probably heard it then. I probably heard it.
Yeah. But shout out Haiti Baby. He actually let me do his album. I did his album and his track list, and he just got signed with Young Jeezy, so he's doing his thing right now. But that was a really big street artist that I work with. But again, I've done like singles too. You know, I mean, I just work with Zoe Osama.
I seen that. When I seen you post that, I was like, no fucking way. That's crazy.
Yeah, he had actually tapped in. I forgot who he followed me. I think he honestly followed me because of Vaughn.
Oh, because of Vaughn?
Yeah, because I was doing a lot of work. Vonnie. Yeah, I was doing a lot of work for him, and I was putting out work. We were working for, I think, like 6 months. And you know what? With Vaughn, I mean, a lot of artists sometimes, I feel like they don't know how to utilize me. You know what I mean? Because I could be creative and I know how to do stuff, but sometimes, like, that's, you know, I like when artists come to me with ideas and like what they want, you know, and I can execute. And I feel like me and Vaughn were just like a great duo together. You know, all the ideas that he was coming at me with, we would brainstorm for like 6 months, just back to back, just getting faded and like talking about different stuff. And that's how like the China plate design came up. You know what I mean? That shit came up, and like
that design was so fucking crazy. I remember my first time seeing that at his pop-up. And I seen that, I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, is that what I think it is? And when I seen up close and he was explaining it to me, I was like, that's fucking... The detail in it around the plate and all that was so fucking insane. Like,
yeah.
How did you guys come up with that one?
So we started out, we were like, he's like, oh, you know, I want like the album Bread and Butter. We were talking about it, and he was like, oh, you know, like I want like a girl like melting, you know. And then he's like, at first we were gonna put her on like a little butter holder, you know, like those little white plates.
Yeah.
And then we were gonna put her with like some grapes and like a glass of wine, you know. And we were just thinking that, and then he was like, man, like, and then I did, instead of drawing her on a little butter plate, I just did a full plate. And he's like, what if we did like a design on the plate? So I was like, you know what, let's try it. And I was even trying to figure out like, how am I gonna do this whole plate, like, and on the iPad, you know, like you can draw like in symmetry. It's called symmetry, and you could set it to quadrants, you could set it to like a pie. And so I just did it with quadrants, and it ended up coming out so nice, you know. So we ended up rolling with it, and I ended up putting the girl with the melting girl on top of the plate. So we used that as kind of like, we had so much work to mess with, you know. But yeah, it ended up being a hit. And then we ended up taking away like the plate from the actual design, and we were like, oh shit, it looks crazy, like an emblem, you know. So we ended up putting it on all the merch, and it ended up being a hit.
That shit's so crazy. Like, yeah, even Buller has the shorts on right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, you gotta jump at the camera with that shit. Sheesh.
Little modeling real quick, little modeling. Shout out Buller.
Yeah, shout out Buller.
Shout out Buller.
Yeah.
Just make sure I focus again, fool. Yeah, like when I seen that at the pop-up, I was just like, what the fuck? And then that's when I like started fucking with Vaughn. And a lot of, honestly, like, I want to give my boy his flowers right now, you know. Shout out to my boy Buller, because a lot of it has been like, a lot of like people I've been tapped in with, it was been because of my boy, you know. Like,
I've seen Buller pop out of all kinds of places. I gotta get you at one of my events, bro, you know. I'm about to run it back again. But yeah, I'll be seeing you pop up everywhere. That was the first time too I met him at Vaughn's pop up.
Yeah,
come back too.
Yeah, that was, yeah. And like, Buller's been knowing me since I was like in 6th, 7th grade, you know.
Sheesh.
Like, he's seen me grow up. Like, we have so many fucking like funny ass stories together. Like, it's crazy. Like, he's had my back since I was a youngin', you know. Like, there's a time where we used to ride fixies and stuff.
Damn, the fixies.
Yeah.
He's fucking dying on me.
We went to an.
Didn't have his inhaler. He's like,
hey, let me tell you, bike riding is super sport.
Yeah.
Especially when you're uphill and you got no gears.
we're like on expedition in King, like, and I'm like, where the fuck we get an inhaler from? We had to like separate from people, get back, and everyone's from the valley, so I don't know LA, but I grew up out there.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I was like, cling. We found everyone. Got that fool's inhaler and shit.
Yeah, because somebody had my backpack. And I don't know, we broke off because somebody's tire got flat, so half of the group stayed, the other half went, and then like we were trying to fucking pedal fast to catch up, and I was dying.
Oh, I believe it.
I was fucking dying. I was telling this fool, so he's calling everybody like, what streets are you on? And they're like, okay, make a left here, make a right here, make another left. Then boom, we caught it to everybody, and it was crazy how he maneuvered everybody like yeah, we were crazy. And then like we were like running into like other bike crews and stuff like that, like talking shit. Like it was funny as fuck. Like
That's
those
funny.
are like great memories, you know. Like even like I said, like, but like, you know, shout out to my boy Buller. Like a lot of like my success has been there because of my boy. You know, he's been here having my back, you know, guiding me. Nah, boy. Give him his flowers, you know what I'm saying? Giving him his flowers.
You know, shout out the people that speak for you in a room when you're not there. You know, full of opportunities, you know what I mean?
And he does, because he be out here, be like, hey, bro, I just talked to this fool. He wants to do an interview with you, and I'm just all like, run it. Like,
yeah,
what are we waiting for?
Yeah.
Like, run it. Like, yesterday, we were on the phone, like, after we did our JP Murals interview, and he goes all like, hey, Arsen wants to do an interview, and I'm just all like, who's that again? Like, that name sounds familiar. Oh, it's this person. All right. He's all like, what are you doing Friday? I was like, I guess we're interviewing Arsen. Like shit, like ain't nothing much to it at that point. Like, let's keep rolling with this shit, you know? Like, ain't nothing gonna stop us at this point, you know?
Yeah,
like,
there's a lot of Valley jams out there, you know, that people hustling right now. The Valley has a lot of people hustling. You know, it's crazy how not too much light gets shed on us like that. And you know, it's crazy too. That's another thing is like, being from the Valley, it's hard working with people from LA because LA is really closed off, you know what I mean? And if it's not word of mouth, then they ain't trying to have it, you know what I mean? They're they're very tied in with each other, and respect to them, you know, respect to LA. But again, like the Valley has talent, mad talent, you know, and if you tap in with the right people, let me tell you, go a long way.
It's like I've been saying, and everybody knows, if you've been watching the podcast, you've been knowing that I've said this. The Valley is next to take the fuck off. Like, people do not understand. And like, it's like I said, my best friend from Denver, you know, like before he came out here, he was always like, oh, the Valley's LA, da da da. I was like, no, bro,
Absolutely
like we're our own fucking world over here, bro. Trust me. Then when he finally came out here, he spent 5 days out here. Then when he went back, he's like, bro, like, I finally understand what you mean by what you say the Valley's its own little world.
Yeah, it is.
Because he goes like, bro, like, I've introduced him to, like, all the fucking, like, dope people. He's like, bro, like, I've been to San Diego, I've been to LA, and people were assholes out there. Everybody that you introduced me to the Valley showed nothing but fucking love to us.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy because the Valley shows love to a lot of places, but you know, we don't really get love like that. No, I'm telling you, people are really tied in with their culture, and that, you know,
that's
cool.
fine. Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool. But again, we ain't got nothing but love to offer. It's crazy. And you know, and then that's another thing too. And you know what, I think that's a lot of the issue is the Valley don't really know how to work together. Everybody has this stigma and this high ego, you know what I mean? And once you take that out of the picture, hey, people are fucking great. You know,
that's what I told everybody. Yeah, like that hating shit on each other has to stop because there's room at the table for everybody.
Oh,
you know?
Absolutely. You know,
I've said this so many times. You know, like once we're able to like set it up and put all that hating shit aside and we all come together, we're gonna be unstoppable.
Oh, it'll be fucking crazy.
Like, we're gonna have this fucking place jumping.
Yeah,
like,
you know, but honestly, it's already happening. Like, look at Midnight Hour.
Yeah,
you look at Midnight Hour. I look at that vinyl store, and I'm like, damn, they're popping.
Yeah,
they got people popping all over the place. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to get on him.
You know, and you know, shout out Midnight Hour because they show a lot of love to like San Fernando in general. Like, they post the history, the culture.
Yep.
You know, and then even in the San Fernando Mall, and I haven't jumped on it, but the San Fernando Mall, they be doing the night markets and stuff, and it's bringing a lot of the city together, you know. But I mean, that's another thing too, is I feel like San Fernando's also kind of tied into its own, and like that's why when I started working with Vaughn, it was like a whole nother world to the Valley, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh shoot, this is another side of the Valley that I'm working with. Yeah, but he worked like again, like even the people that shop with him, you know, like a lot of his people that buy his stuff, they're from like Northridge out there, like, you know, and a lot of younger people. But again, like it's a different world working with different people, and that's what made me realize, you know what, I need to work with more people from the Valley because there's a lot of people out here that don't know who you are, you know what I mean? And the Valley's small, but it's also really big, you know. So again, if everybody could tie in together, there's nothing but greatness.
That's why I keep telling everybody, like, we next to blow up when it comes down to everything. Like, when it comes down to, like, rappers, any type of song artists, graphic designers, painters, chefs. Me, I'm trying to be the hottest motherfucking podcast out this motherfucker.
And again, like, you don't really see too many podcasters out here. You know what I mean? And again, one of my friends was on No Muzzle. I don't know if you heard No Muzzle. A small podcast. My friend was on there too, and I mean, even the podcast game is crazy. You see a lot of little podcasts, but again, the route you're taking, I think, is dope because a lot of people like the little gossip and the topics and stuff like that, and they don't really take into consideration that there's a lot of people out here, and what you're doing is crazy because you have so many people that you could interview, and you've interviewed some dope ass people. You ATM Danny, I see you.
That was a crazy one. Shout out ATM.
Too, shout out ATM too. I did his single with the clouds. I forget what song.
Off a lit one?
No, not off a lit one. Why am I blanking now? And I did his shit. But he did it on the Drake beat.
Trying to remember that one.
I think it's a from time freestyle.
Oh yeah. I just heard it on SoundCloud today.
Yeah, I did that. Shout out ATM, man. Yeah, he's blowing up right now. He's going crazy.
Hey, he
rocking all the gear too. Rocky Vaughn's gear. Yeah, I see that shit. That shit's crazy.
Shout out ATM Danny, bro.
Yeah.
Put it on.
No,
every time I drop food off to the studio session, I meet real dope people, and they like the
Yeah, I gotta get some more working with him for sure.
Shout out ATM Danny on that one for sure.
Yeah,
like I said, like everybody we just gotta get together at the end of it, like, and just build more relationships. Stop that hating bullshit. We can all work together. Like, we can all eat. Let's all eat. Like,
and that's another thing too. Is like, I think being a helping hand goes a long way because you never know. You can't always sit there and look at the underdog like they're the underdog because one day they'll be past you. You know what I mean? And it happens a lot. They'll pass you up and it's like, oh shit.
No doubt.
But again, I mean, once that goes out the window, for sure, we got some dope shit coming.
Yeah, that's like with me, like before, like when I was doing the podcast before, I was doing it out of my home with, a couple people, and then, shit happened, I stopped, and then I was like, you know what, like that brought me happiness, I'm gonna bring it back. Mm-hmm. But then I thought to myself, all right, every influencer like on TikTok all of a sudden wants to start a fucking a podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm just all like, what am I gonna do to be different from them? Yeah. And it's like I said, I can go get a studio right now, if I wanted to, but I'm all like, where's the originality in that? How am I gonna be different from everybody else? That's just gonna be the same shit as everybody else. So then that's when I really it took me like a couple of days to really think about it. Like, I had to really sit down and talk to myself like, all right, how are you gonna be different? How are you gonna be different? I thought about a bunch of shit and I was like, nah, that ain't it. And then I finally thought, well, I'm sticking to the path of interviewing people now instead of having like a little talk show,
Yeah.
I'm sticking on the path to interviewing, so I'm like, you know what? Whoever I'm interviewing, I want them to feel as comfortable as possible. Because, I've had people come to the crib to do an interview, and, and I know they felt comfortable, but I wanted them to feel more comfortable, what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm all like, why don't I go to their spots,
Yeah.
And for example, like yesterday, we were in the fucking PJs.
Yeah, I know, that was crazy to see. Honestly, I think that was so fucking dope.
Like, a lot of people that are not from the Valley, you don't understand, like, when it comes down to the San Fernando Gardens, the projects, you can't just go in there if you don't know anybody.
Yeah.
you just can't. Growing up, I always passed by there, and I was always taught, you don't go in there.
Yeah.
That's a one way in, no way out type situation right there.
Yeah, I'm from this side of the freeway. You're told not to go in the PJs. You know what I mean? But again, like, to see that was really dope. And shout out JP for making a change in his city,
bro. Like,
it's hard to be that change. But again, he's showing an example, especially for the kids in that area.
Yeah,
so what he's doing is beautiful. That big ass mural that he did at Cesar Chavez. That's crazy.
We were talking about that shit
is so crazy.
Y'all be ready for that interview.
Yeah.
By the time this drops, that interview will be out already. So y'all go watch that one. You know what I'm saying? No, yeah, but like, the Valley's just it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's starting already, and it's just a matter of time to where everybody's just gonna be tapped in. Like, somebody from out the Valley is gonna hit me up like, hey, I need a graphic designer. Boom. got you what it is, you know. Hey, I need last minute catering. You like hibachi? You like tacos? Damn, my boy. Yeah. Right there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, you know,
honestly,
stuff like
it's all
that.
word of mouth, you know. Again, I think that once everybody's tapped in with each other, even hosting events, doing events together, that's another thing, you know, that'd be crazy.
That's one thing, like, I've been envisioning. And we've talked about it, me and Wooler have talked about it, is putting on, like, a big festival for the Valley.
Yeah.
Like, crazy shit, like, having, like, food, a stage, people perform, you know, and stuff like that.
I talk about it all the time. Me and Vaughn, you know, that's another thing too. Is we talk about doing like shows like that because we all know so many artists that we work with, and then there's the food, the clothing, you know, all the little vendors, all that comes into play, and I think we can make some dope shit happen. All the right,
that's exactly what it is.
All the right pieces are there. All the right pieces are there. It's just, you know,
coming together, and everybody being on the same page, which it's gonna happen. Yeah, y'all be on the lookout for that.
Putting the differences aside too. That's a big thing. You know, sometimes people gotta just put your differences aside and get to business. You know, business is business.
Yeah, it's like with me, like I'm based out of the Valley. You know, like that's why I tell everybody at the end of the day we share one thing together, our area code. You know, we're all the Valley. When I'm told like, oh, where you from? Like, I don't say like, oh, I'm from Panorama City. Like, no. I'm from the San Fernando Valley. Yeah. That's me. You know, that's home to me. It's always gonna be home no matter what. Yeah. I talk a lot of shit like, damn, I want to move out of here. You know, like that. But like,
you know, everybody's like,
I don't want to leave. You know, like, you know,
at the end of the day, home is home. You know.
Yeah, but like me, like I want to go outside to an interview. Like, if there's anybody who wants to throw an interview with me and you're not from the Valley, by all means, tap in.
Oh yeah, tap the fuck in. You know, it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter who.
It's like I say, and it's on my bio. That's my motive. Like, everybody has a story to tell at the end of it. You know, like that's what it is. Like, and it's like, okay, that person may not relate to this story, but that person over there is gonna relate to this story. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You know what? No matter what the difference in one person listening to your podcast, you know what I mean? All it takes is one person. One person's the difference. You know, so again, like you said, it might not affect somebody else, but somebody else watching it, it's like, oh, well, you know what? I like that. Let me look at his other episodes. You know what I mean? So, and again, too, you're also interviewing people that do different things. So it's like, well, somebody that likes clothing might listen to mine. Someone that likes painting might listen to JP's. You know what I mean?
Somebody
so you have
music,
a variety of things, which that's why I think like it's really dope what you're doing.
Good looking, I appreciate it. Back to like, you know, your graphic designing and all that. Was there ever a point of time where it got so bad that you wanted to give up? And what was that reason why? If you don't mind talking about that.
I just think, you know what? Sometimes life happens, you know, and like sometimes there's so much work that has to be done, and it's not even. I think I'm my own worst enemy, because sometimes the issue's not even that bad, but it's getting in your own head, and it's like sometimes I'll be like, why the hell am I doing this? Like, literally, why am I doing this? What, you know, like, why? I don't even need to be stressed out about this, you know. And again, I'm like, I have my job, you know, I have stuff that I do, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I do it because I like it. Yeah. I do it, and you know what? Maybe I'm pissed off today, but I'll be at it again in a week or so. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
And again, sometimes, you know, again, you get frustrated, and sometimes things ain't going your way. I think seeing right now that the clothing game is completely washed. Like, if I'm not gonna lie, you know, a lot of people are making brands right now. A lot of people are making brands, and there's people blowing up overnight. You see that shit happen, and it's like, what the hell? Like, what am I doing wrong? But at the same time, it's also those people that are into the trends. You know what I mean? Yeah. You see people blowing up because their brand looks like Hellstar. You see their people blowing up, you know. It just,
I haven't seen that.
You know, and again, by all means, if it's working for you, it's working for you. You know, you got it down. If you got the formula down, hey, no hating, because anything in general that you're running by yourself is hard. But again, when I work day in and out, you know, on my stuff, and I don't expect to blow up overnight, but it's like shit. It's a slow and steady pace, you know what I mean? And again, to see people like blow up, it's like, damn, what the hell? What am I doing? Should I reevaluate what I'm doing? Am I doing something wrong? You know, but again, like I said, you know, I'm just laying a brick a day, and maybe not right now, but maybe 5 years from now, you'll see me somewhere. You know what I mean? And again, even then, even if it's not that, the people that I have supporting me right now is enough, because at least it keeps me going.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nip said it best too. At the end of it, it's not a sprint race; it's a marathon. You know?
And you gotta trust your process.
Yeah.
You gotta learn to enjoy it, and that's another thing, is learning to enjoy your process, the ups and downs. Because again, stuff happens, shit happens, and it might not even go your way, but you know, yeah, life be lifing.
Yeah. Life be fucking lifing.
You know.
Yeah. Who's gonna be on the next episode with us?
Even the people that stuck to the you know, when the pandemic happened, think about that too. There was a lot of people. You know what? The pandemic made it was a good time for the creatives, but at the same thing, shout out you if you stuck through the pandemic. You know, that was another crazy time. But you know, because
2020 was
you couldn't do shit.
Oh my god, man.
I like the pandemic because I got to see my kids.
Yeah.
But I was outside working.
Yes.
My dumbass trapped it, so I didn't have no money for that shit. So.
I was off that EDD. I was
shit,
at home.
Hey, you know what? Listen, I can't be mad at nobody that was home off of EDD, because shit, I wish I was home on EDD, but you know what? At the time, my job, I had to go into office every fucking day, and I was so pissed about it because my whole family was home for 2 years.
I had a homie that got mad because I was on EDD. And he started talking shit. He's like, bro, like, you're being a lazy at that. I'm like, why you mad at me? Because you gotta go to work, my boy. Like, I didn't give you your job. Like, that's not my fault. I can't work, motherfucker. Like, what do you want me to do? Be home and be broke? Like, no, stupid. Like, come on, dog. Like,
dude,
he knows who he is if he listens to this shit. We still talk from time to time. But yeah, he got mad at me. Like, I remember one time we were playing online. And like he came and was like, oh, I'm tired. I'm all like, oh, all right, so you're only gonna play a couple of games. Like, all right, you know, I was fucking with him. I was like, oh, you're being a little bitch. Shut the fuck up, fool. I have to go to work. You're being a lazy sack of shit at home. Like, damn, boy, I was kidding, my boy. I was kidding, you know. But shout out to him.
Hey, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I might have had a couple frustrated times because I'm like, shit, everybody. Oh, let me tell you,
no traffic.
8:30 in the morning, the 118's clear. The 405's clear.
5 minutes.
Let me. What? You know,
I didn't take advantage of that when the freeways were clear because like I said, I stood home.
Oh yeah.
And now I'm just like, damn, I never got to witness the freeways clear. Now I got to deal with
Let me tell you, it was a beautiful
bullshit.
sight. And you know what? That first week that everybody went back to school and everything, I was like, fuck, man. Send everybody back home. Let's go to another lockdown.
Right? Shit.
You know?
Give me another stimmy real quick, ASAP.
But you know what? Fortunately, now I'm a remote worker, so I work from home every day of the week except for Tuesdays.
That's what's up.
So you know what? I mean, shit. God heard my prayers. Like, you know.
He's like, all right, you worked the whole pandemic. Let me help you out. Real
Send my
quick,
ass home. You know, so
Yeah.
that's fortunate for me. And that's another thing too. Luckily, I have that benefit of working from home. So like sometimes on my downtime, I can work on my other projects, you know, so it works out perfectly for me.
You know, taking it back to your graphic designing and all that, is there something or somebody that like really has you on like that keeps you motivated, you know, whether they're still here or not, where like that it's like, you know what, I gotta keep doing this, I gotta keep pushing and pushing like that, you know?
Yeah. You know what, 2 years ago, my best friend passed away, Pauline. Shout out Pauline. She was my best support system. She was my number one fan, and till this day she's my biggest order on my website. I think she purchased like every piece that I had and spent like over $300. And on her plaque, she's wearing one of my So Kaotic sweaters. And again, like, and I think when I hit my dark times, I remember her, and I'm like, you know what? I can't give up. Because like she supported me so much that I'm like, damn, I can't let her down. Never mind everybody else. She's gone, and I'm still, you know, and I'm still thinking about her thoughts on me, you know what I mean? And I think that's my biggest motivation to keep going, because you know what, she was my number one fan, and honestly I wouldn't be shit without her. That's, you know, so you know, shout out her, rest in peace Pauline. But yeah, that was my biggest support system right there, you know. But I mean, stuff happens.
No, yeah, life be lifing.
Life be lifing.
That's the next shirt right there, yo.
Yeah.
Life be lifing. You know?
Life be lifing.
Royalties on that.
Shut your
Yeah,
ass
shit. Hey, that should be our collab that we were talking about. Life be lifing.
Life be lifing. That'd be a good one right
Yeah.
there. No, you know, but what's a couple of like big names that you've been working with besides like Zoe Osama? That's a crazy one.
Yeah, so yeah, that one, you know, we kind of got off topic, but that one, you know, I think he just randomly followed me because of the work I was doing with Vaughn, and I had tapped in with them, like, dude, he was like, yeah, we need to run some work, and he finally got back to me. He was like, what's up? Like, let's run some merch, you know, and that's another thing I'm trying to tap into is like artist merch, you know, because that's you can do the covers, you know, and whatnot, but some of these artists, you know, a lot of people think, oh, these rappers got a lot of money, and some of them don't got money like that, you know. So I try to also teach them, like, yo, there's ways you can make money to benefit yourself. All that money you can make on t-shirts can go to your music. So I started tapping in with him with that. But yeah, I worked with Zoe Osama. Who else did I work with? I worked
Rucci, no?
Rucci, yeah. So Rucci, I actually just did his portrait just because I was like, I've done realism, and I had done like a couple of different portraits, but like I've obviously got better over time, and I hadn't done a portrait in, I'd say, like 2 years. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do a portrait, and I'm gonna take my time and just like try my best. And one of my friends, she told me, she had been telling me, because she knows them, she was like, dude, you should do Rucci. He likes when people do art of him, you know. So I was like, all right. And I had like slacked on it, and then one day I just started doing it. It took me about like a week, and I remember I posted it, and then, you know what, it's funny, like he commented on it, whatever, and then a month later he hits me up and he's like, yo, can I use this as my album cover? And I was like, hell yeah. Hell yeah, you know. And again, like it is what it, you know, that shit just crazy, just happened. But from doing that, like it's word of mouth. I also tapped in with Manny Coolin from Rolling with the Winners.
Yeah.
So Nico G4, Manny Coolin, Walt Manta. I just did Walt Manta. Who else? I worked with a couple people. I just did Chap D. Shout out them, man. But yeah, I've worked with a couple ones. Some of them are like word of mouth, or some of them are features. Like I did Chris O'Bannon. He had a feature with OGZ.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Who else? Yeah, honestly, I can't.
Is there an artist that you want to work with soon in the future?
You know what?
Give me three artists that you like in the future that you're gonna work with.
It's so funny because
we gotta start manifesting.
Shout out my girl, but she sometimes gives me little ideas, you know, of art to do, and she listens to like Young Miko and Fade and all that, and I do like the neon art. Like I just did Michi God yesterday. Shout out Michi God.
That shit came out crazy. I saw that.
Shout out Michi God, but yeah, she likes like I do neon art, and I started listening to Young Miko because of her, and I see that they have like all these neon art for their promo. I'm like, you know what? It would be so dope to work with Fade and Young Miko because I do that type of style of art. So I would like to get into that. The reggaeton world is crazy, you know, so I would like to tap into that for sure. Young Miko, Fade, and you know what? One day Drake. I know all the beef going on right now, and it is what it is, you know. Shout out Kendrick Lamar. Shout out LA. But Drake. You know why? Because I did Drake. I did like a little animation of him, and I ended up getting posted on Young Money's main page. Yeah, if you look on my page, the graphic of Drake, the Young Money commented on my profile, and then they posted me that same day. And I was like, I think that's honestly that right there is like my biggest accomplishment, like being on Young Money. Yeah, I forgot about that one, but I'm like, being on Young Money's page, that was like my biggest accomplishment. I was like, holy shit,
that's crazy.
You know, I couldn't believe it, and I got a lot of people that tapped in because of that. Yeah. But yeah, I think that would be cool for sure. I mean, that would be a goal for sure. Yeah. But honestly, any artist, I don't even care how big you are. You know what I mean? Any artist, to me, shit, I take any type of work. You know, so you know. But yeah.
So I kind of want to get like a little personal into it. Mm-hmm. You know, like you said earlier, you know, you are lesbian. Was that like a big discouragement to some people trying to work with them, or like not really at all?
I don't even think that, because I'm to be honest, like I know, like obviously I'm gay, but like I don't even be into like the gay world like that. You know what I mean? Like I know people are into pride and all that, and hey, just shout out the gays. You know what I mean? I am, but you know, I'm not even really like out, all like that. You know what I mean? Like, of course, I accept who I am. My family does, and I don't care about anybody else, to be honest. But you know what? It's not even me being gay. I think it's hard being a woman in a graphic design world, even in the music industry, and respect in general, you know, because there's a lot of men that I've tried working with, and like it's the ego, you know, of a man, and working with men, it's hard to get respect, you know, because sometimes they don't think you know what you're talking about, you know, and it's like, then there's those guys that are cool as hell that I come and they respect my word. Like, again, shout out Vaughn, like, you know, he respects, he always tells me, he's like, you know what, you have to respect the word of a woman because they know what they're talking about, and you know, they'll put you in line really quick. And Vaughn will tell you, like, there was times, you know, where I'm like, hey dude, we gotta do this shit right now, like not tomorrow, not today, right now, you know. But I think it's just that the respect, because again, like, even like in paying me, sometimes, you know, like, you know, man to man, you don't like to owe a man another man money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The ego of a man, you don't like to owe another person money. But if a man knows that he owes a woman money, he knows he could push it off. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not sitting here trying to downplay men, because I respect men. You know, my dad, love my dad. My dad's a big example for me. And again, I just think that it's hard as a woman running a business, and in the type of environment I'm in, you know, the music industry, it's so hard getting that type of respect. But that's where I have to continue to work to gain that respect, you know what I mean? And I've gained it over time, you know, from when I first started to now, you know. A lot of people that I work with now, you know, I feel like they have more respect for me.
Yeah, no doubt on that.
Yeah.
And like you said, at the end of it, it's like a lot of it's word to mouth, you know? Like,
it's a lot of it's word to mouth. And I think too, like, that's another thing, because they know, like, well, I tapped in with her because of so-and-so, you know? Mm-hmm. So again, I think that helps. But yeah, I would say that's a big factor for me.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, I just, you know, once I seen your work and all that, like, I was just like, damn, like, your work is crazy. Like,
thank you.
I'll tell you, my favorite piece has been the China plate, and then that recent Dodger one you did too.
Yeah.
Did she? I've been looking out on that.
Yeah, I know, because Buller was like, I'll trade you 2 plates for that shirt. And I was like, you know, and I was thinking about it because I asked you for your size, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just give this shirt, you know.
When I see you post it, I was like, damn, I gotta get that job. That shit clean, like. That shirt is so bad.
Yeah, you know what?
That cream color on it too.
Yeah. You know what? I was like kind of indecisive because I have my brand, right? So Chaotic, but then I was like, I don't necessarily have to stick to creating everything that says So Chaotic. You know what I mean? I was like, I want to branch out into different stuff, and if I'm making these type of shirts or logos for other people, I'm sure I can make one of my own. You know what I mean? Like, I've done different stuff, and I was like, I like the graphic tee style. Yeah.
We're bringing the shirt right now, so y'all
it's
can
a little
check
wrinkle.
it out.
Don't mind the wrinkles a little bit, but you know what?
Check it out, y'all. That shit came out so sick, bro.
Come on now.
Shout out my new model Buller. Yeah, but yeah, you know, I just started like tapping into the team graphics, and when I made that one, I was like, you know, let me see how it looks, and then
I'm gonna have one of my buddies tap in with you, because he's starting off his clothing brand, you know, and I was telling him too, you know, like, shout out KB's Finest, shout out my boy Adam. I was telling him too, like, not everything has to say KB's Finest on it.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to say that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've given him some dope ass ideas that I'll run by you after the podcast, that, like, I've told him, like, bro, this would look sick as fuck on a shirt, like, but you gotta get, like, a graphic designer with you know? At the end of it, like, everything costs money, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything costs money, you know what I'm saying? But, like, you know, I told him, like, not everything has to say KB's Finest. Not everything has to say your brand on it, you know?
Yeah.
As long as people know, like, oh, where'd you get that from? Oh, I got it from KB's Finest.
You know, that's when you invest in your tags, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You invest in your tags, so when, you know, people are like, oh, where'd you get it? Oh, look, my tag. You know what I mean? Or you put it in the back, or you put your brand name somewhere small, you know what I mean, on the shirt. But yeah, you're not all the time do you have to have your shit blasted everywhere, you know? So that's why I have a different mixture. Sometimes I drop SFV stuff, sometimes I drop A18 stuff, sometimes I drop brand stuff. And again, like, you know, it's just a mixture of things. But yeah, you know, there's all kinds of stuff you could do. You should never tunnel vision yourself with your ideas, you know what I mean?
Okay, so I asked about like a certain artist that you want to work with. Is there a certain clothing brand that's like big out there that you want to like have a collab with?
You know, I would eventually like to work with the Hundreds. The Hundreds, I just think they're a dope ass clothing brand. Their garments are super dope. Most of my clothes I get from the Hundreds. You know, I'd be spending money, let me tell you, on their clothes. But
hit that warehouse
I think
sales.
One day, Bobby Hundreds, if you ever see this, we for sure can get some work in. But I would like to work with the Hundreds brand. Honestly, any brand, I don't care. I feel like I'm one contract away from, like, you know, a big deal. Like, that's my goal. Is, you know, it's a blessing to make money off of my talent, but I do want to take it the furthest I can, and that would be a clothing contract with somebody big, or Zoomies even. I've seen people get contracts with Zoomies and artists. That's why I'm saying, like,
OGZ just got his
into Zoomies. Got into Zoomies. And Antonio, what's his name? Antonio, dang, I forget his at name. But he's another graphic designer that I know. He's an artist as well, but he just did a like collab with OGZ, and it got into Zoomies. So again, like, you know, stuff like that happens. But that's another route too. Like, these artists that are blowing up, that's like Joey Fats, for instance. Joey Fats is another person I want to work with because of Cutthroat. So his brand, like, he took his music and pretty much turned it into a clothing brand, and it went up because that's the thing, he has his fan base. So a lot of these artists that I'm working with too, if they took their route into clothing, that's where it's at, you know what I mean? So again, you know, but I would say Hundreds for sure. That's
fucking, I remember, like, elementary, middle school, everybody on the block was wearing Hundreds. My family couldn't afford it. You know, I always wanted it. Then once I started getting money, like, if you go into my closet, you see like so many Hundred shirt, and it's just all like, you still like that brand? Well, hell, I've been loving that brand since I was a kid. You know, like, I remember when they used to make shoes.
Obey too.
Yeah, I remember when the Hundreds used to make shoes.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted a pair, and it's just all like, if I ever come across a pair my size, I don't care what they look like, they coming home with me. I don't give a fuck. Like,
that's so funny.
Like, everybody on my block was always wearing the Hundreds. Like, dude, I want a 100 shirt. Like, I want a 100 shirt. Now that I'm an adult now, you know, like, I got my own adult money, like, once in a while, like, I buy, hell yeah.
But see, that's you know, it's funny too, is like, that's another thing I look at street brands is like, a lot of street brands aim for that luxury street brand. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, they want to be the luxury street brand. And like Supreme, you know, Obey, all of them, I think, like, too, it also hits a point where it's like, you also want your people to be able to afford it, you know? And I think that's another thing I take into consideration with my brand, is I always want to be somewhat affordable for my people, you know, or for anybody that likes my stuff, because again, like, it's expensive, and now, especially in today's world, it's expensive to buy anything. And, you know, sorry about people if my shirts be going up, but like, the printing isn't cheap easy, you know what I mean? Like, my Dodger shirt, you know, that's an 8-color shirt. It's expensive to print it, you know what I mean? So, you know, you gotta charge, obviously, you know, but again, like, I think that's another thing too, is like making sure that I'm affordable for my people, because again, you know, the clientele, you want to keep it, you know. What good is it if people can't buy your stuff?
100%.
You know, if I really like your brand, I would have bought 5 shirts, but I can only buy 1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Check a little slight this week, you know what I'm saying?
Come, you know, a little like, discount. You know,
accept Afterpay? Like, what's up, Klarna? Like, what's going on? Let's work here, you know? Let's work here, you know? Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's why, like I said, though, like, at the end of it, like, I love wearing, like, Valley shit, you know? Like, I love wearing it, especially, like, when I'm outside the Valley, and people are gonna know, like, all right, he's from the Valley. I see the shirt. But people are going to be like, hey, bro, that's a dope-ass fucking shirt. Or dope-ass, you know, like my buddy Troy, again, with Retro. Hey, he just released a tracksuit set. And it was like of the Baseball Furies. I've posted that picture. And I've gotten so many compliments on that fucking tracksuit. And everybody wants it. Yeah. And I'm just like, bro, like, you need to hit him up fast. Because once he sells out, like, he doesn't re-release shit. Like, it's a one-time drop and all that, you know? Like, I've had people, like, my buddies in Denver and Texas, like, bro, like, that fit was tough. It's all like, you know, like, hit him up. Like, I'm tagging them in it, you know? Like, you know what to do. Like, I can't buy it for you, you know? Like, I bought it myself, bro. Like,
you know what's funny too is one of my biggest sellers is my Ain't Shit Sweet shirt. I don't know if you guys seen it, but I have the pink. I had the pink. I dropped it in the Dodger colors. I dropped it in black. And it's just like a puff print that says Ain't Shit Sweet, big in the back. And like, I get complimented on it everywhere, you know, or people ask like, oh, people are asking about your shirt or this and that. And you know what's funny? The one time my shirt went viral is for that video that recently went viral. It was like, it was this guy, I know him, and he bought one of my shirts, my Ain't Shit Sweet shirt, and in the video it's his girlfriend saying racial slurs to some black guy.
Oh shit!
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, and it went viral. It went viral on Instagram, Twitter, like all over. And I was like, oh my god! The one time my shirt goes viral, it's in a video, and it's in a racist video, and I'm like, oh my god! Like, what are the chances? No, we are not affiliated with those people. No, I'm just kidding. But
you see the comments like, hey, besides the video, that's a dope ass shirt, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Exactly. But I was just like, oh my god, that one time, because, you know, but again, we're not affiliated with racial slurs, no. But yeah, you know, so I was like, damn, what are the chances, you know? But that is my biggest seller, though, for sure.
So one thing that I've been wanting to start doing now, I've been wanting to ask one question. I need you to give me one hood food spot that you grew up eating, because me and Buddha are gonna go like try it one day, you know, and do like a little review on it.
One food, let me see.
Anything burgers, mariscos, fucking Mexican food, you know, like Armenian food, whatever it is.
You know what's funny is, well, growing up, honestly, I grew up on Tommy's in San Fernando. That's the
not the actual Tommy's.
Not the actual Tommy's. No. Tommy's. Everybody always gets confused. San Fernando has its own Tommy's, and I used to go there with my grandpa.
I've never gone there either.
It's right there on McClay, next to MB Trendy and next to Hanzo Sushi. They're just their regular chili cheese fries and bacon cheeseburger, charbo burger.
I've been there because I thought it was a Tommy's when I googled it, and when I seen that it wasn't, I was like, okay, let me go look for another. Like, honestly, another Tommy's.
It's been there for a cool minute, but yeah, the food's good. That's like somewhere. That's somewhere I've been going since I was a kid. Also El Faro. You know, Faro on McClay?
That sounds so familiar.
Okay. You know what? I mean, if not Tommy's, El Faro on Bromont and McClay.
Okay, then.
And that...
What is it?
It's a Mexican spot. Get their asada burrito.
Okay,
you cannot go wrong. El Faro. Everybody knows El Faro is that spot, and it's literally on the corner of my block. It's a little bit newer. It's a little bit newer. I mean, it's been there for a couple years, but that's the spot right there for sure. All
right, that's what's up. All right, before we start wrapping it up, you know, is there any like shout outs you want to give out or anything like that before, you know, we close out?
Honestly, just shout out my family. They're my biggest support system. You know, a lot of the stuff they don't get paid to do. You know what I mean? But they show up and they support me when they can. They get paid in love. They get paid in food. I buy it. Mm-hmm. No, but shout out my family. Shout out my friends too. My friends always show up for me. They support me when they can. You know, but yeah, shout out them. Shout out everybody that's supporting the movement. And if you haven't, go follow So Kaotic Clothing. But yeah,
y'all heard it here first. You know, again, thank you for the time you gave me.
Thank you, and shout out you guys for bringing me on this podcast.
Thank you, I really appreciate it. Y'all be on the lookout for her clothing brands coming up, all her collabs, everything. Hundreds coming soon. You know, you gotta manifest that right now.
I gotta manifest that. You know.
You gonna drop over too?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure. We gotta get collab going.
You know, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Let You Tell It podcast. We'll see you guys next time. We out.